yours. Go.
Elation, devastation, championships won and more to come. Hello and welcome to the NBL1 show. Thanks to Coles Express, I'm Megan Hustwaite, my MVP championship winning teammate Pete Hooley at the desk with me as usual. Pete, we've got champions crowned, more to come this weekend. It's the most wonderful time of year.
Well, it is. I mean, how exciting was last weekend? The three-game grand final series up north and all the predictions that were probably predicted wrong for the most part.
By
but
us.
I tell you what, you've mentioned there's highlights. There's also been some elite post-match interviews as well, because there's been a lot of talk going on, which we like. That's all part of it. But yeah, really good. Congratulations to all the teams that we're going to go through and the players. And we're getting closer and closer to finding out who our first national champion is. And that team is going to be well deserved.
Yeah, so North and East have had their grand finals, champions crowned. NBL1 South Central and West conferences have single game grand finals this weekend, so it is going to be an action-packed weekend, of course streamed on KO freebies. But let's go North now, where we had the best of three grand final series. We're going to start with the Townsville Flames, because burn, that is what they did to Logan. Undefeated Thunder, 21-zip. And it was all over in the grand final as Townsville swept them 2-0.
It was incredible. I mean, we spoke to Courtney Woods last week. They were extremely confident just playing some fun basketball under Shannon Seabaum, and we knew he would have them prepared. But not only gave them their first loss and then their second loss back-to-back, but did it handedly. It was obliterating. And I remember you messaged me, it was 48-14 at halftime, nearing halftime, and I was like, there's no possible way, because I watched the first game and thought that Logan would bounce back. But credit to Townsville, credit to all the players, to Shannon Seabaum. It is an incredible effort. And again, take nothing away from Logan, who had an outstanding regular season. But this is what the exciting thing about playing your best basketball at the right time. And they got hot and they all stood up.
It's a stunning result, isn't it? We mentioned elation and devastation in the opener, and it's purely that. Logan has an flawless season to the grand final, and they would be devastated after the weekend. It's the most cruel way to finish a year, not experiencing defeat into a grand final series. And then on the other hand, Townsville, it was just, they climbed the ultimate mountain to be able to knock them off in 2 games.
Well, they did it collectively as a group, but our next guest, Steph Reed, she stood up. She averaged just under 25 points and just under 10 assists in the series. She was unstoppable, having a lot of fun. We know she's got her help. We spoke to Courtney Woods last week, Alana Smith as well. So they'll be at the NBL1 National Final. They'll face the women's wild cards, which is the Spartans, who they played recently to get to the grand final series. So big things ahead of them, and if they're rolling and playing with smiles on their faces with Shannon Seabaum at the helm, it's going to be hard to see anybody take away the national crown from them.
So let's head up to Townsville now and chat to the MVP of the championship as we welcome Steph Reed. Steph, congratulations. Tell us a bit about what the last few days have been like.
Okay, yeah, so they've been pretty exciting. Definitely caught up on a lot of sleep yesterday. Was a bit sleep deprived for the few nights after the win, but yeah, they've been really exciting, and we're taking a little bit of time off before we prepare for nationals now.
Well, let's rewind a little bit back to the start of last week. You know, you're heading in to play Logan in the best of three grand final series, and a lot of the talk was, I mean, they're undefeated and they had a great season. Everyone was thinking, can you get one? Can you get one win? And we spoke to Courtney Woods last week about it. What was the mindset going into it? Did you always feel confident? Because you not only just won the grand final, you obliterated the undefeated team not once, but twice. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was definitely, I mean, we knew that we could win. We were confident in that. But to do it the way we did, I don't think anyone really expected that. Going into the games, we just knew that we were very, very different from when we played them last time, obviously with the addition of Lan, but we've also just tweaked a lot of things since then, and they have been our benchmark all season, so we have been preparing all year to beat them, so we went in pretty confident that we could do the job.
Well, we're not surprised by the result because of the team, but also because you've got one of the best coaches in the biz in Shannon Seabaum. We spoke a lot about him last week with Courtney, but did he talk going into the game about the fact that Logan were undefeated? Was it something that was acknowledged?
I think it was more along like the lines of, you know, we obviously know they're a really good team. They've done a lot this season, but, you know, the pressure's on them, not us. We tried to stay pretty focused on ourselves heading into it. I mean, there was a lot of talk around the league and everything about the game, and we kind of just tried to go very tunnel vision heading into the game, and he's really good at that, making sure that we're all focused on the right things. So we just tried to take the viewpoint of focusing on ourselves rather than them heading into the series.
So that tunnel vision, now NBL1 North put out a socials of the predictions for the grand final heading up. For some reason they got mine wrong because I put Townsville 2-0 and that's not what they put on there. Did you have a look at everybody's things and have a little cheeky laugh when you looked back at it?
Yeah, actually, there were some surprises in there. Yours being one of them, but that's okay. No, it's okay. I mean, it's fun to look at that, and it was cool to see a few of the other women's players in the league voting for us. And I don't know, it was a mixed bag. I think it ended up being 11-10 people thinking that we would win versus Logan. So obviously people didn't really know who to choose. But yeah, there was some interesting ones in there, that's for sure.
Pete, are you pointing at me because I got it wrong?
No, yeah, I think a lot of us got it wrong.
Yeah, I gave Townsville one game, and I'm really
sorry. One game? I know.
I also did. So technically, we're not wrong. We just didn't get the other game part of it. Now, talk to me a little bit about the game one, because it's unique. It's a 3-game series. So you handily take care of business by 28 on Friday night. In the locker room after, what is Coach Shannon Seabaum saying? Because, okay, you've given them their first loss, you've done it well, but really, if you can't take care of business at least once more over the next 2 days, it means nothing. So how do you just snap back in to get ready for game 2?
We looked at film a little bit on Saturday before the game, but he just kind of said, job's not done. We are a pretty fit team, and I think that's what got us over the line on the Friday, was that the second half we were able to just come out and play our pace for 40 minutes, and that was something they struggled with. So coming into the game, we knew that if we had just played the same basketball we played in the second half, that we could really come away with the win.
Tell us about the addition of Alana Smith to the team. Magnificent human, Olympian. She's had quite a lot of experience with the Opals and in the WNBA, but she's had the disappointments this year of being cut from the WNBA and unfortunately hasn't made the World Cup team for the Opals next month. What kind of addition has she been to the team, and what sort of bounce back have you seen from Lan in the last few weeks? And now, she's a champion.
Yeah, obviously Lan's had a pretty tough year in that regard. But honestly, she has to be one of the most resilient, hardworking people that I've met. And considering what she's gone through, I think it's a huge testament for her to come out with the same mentality every week. I mean, when everything happened, she went home after camp and came straight back, and on the next Monday, she's in the gym working out with us again. She's someone that, she's had a lot of obstacles, with her ankle and everything this year, but I think, it's a true testament to how strong of a person that she is to come out and contribute not only to our team, but to our culture the way that she has since she's come in. She's a huge part of what we've done this year, and the addition of her was instrumental in what we've done. But, not only she's a phenomenal player, she's a phenomenal teammate to have. And yeah, she's huge props to her, because honestly, not many people can go through what she's been through in the last 12 months and come out and still be as motivated and as positive as she is on a daily basis.
Well, you can definitely see that positivity when the way she goes about it. It looked like she had a lot of fun out there. And I'm glad we've got you back on the show. Finals MVP, well deserved. But I want you to tell me honestly. Now, last time we had you on, we spoke that you had a 50-point game a couple of seasons ago. And I think we all sat here well, that's an incredible achievement. Will anybody ever match it? It's been matched and beaten twice now. Does that sit well with you? Because that's a tough thing. When you got that record at the time, everyone's thinking, okay, that's right, Steph Reed did that. And now it's been beaten twice. Any chance you're going to get back and take that crown back?
I don't know. It's never really been a focus again. Hey, I got a cool ring, I guess. So I guess I'll probably take that over the 50 title, maybe. I don't know, yeah.
I'd probably take that too.
Well, no one else that's had 50 or more in NBL1 has the ring.
There you go.
Just Steph. Steph, let's talk about your... I love that. Love that for you. Let's talk about your incredible year. You had a fantastic WNBL campaign with Townsville alongside Courtney, alongside Mia, being coached by Shannon. Reward for effort, making your Opals debut against Japan, and now championship, finals MVP, heading into another WNBL season. How would you describe your 2022?
Yeah, it's been pretty good so far. Hey, yeah, I'm really just enjoying the game. I mean, I'm really lucky. I think with Shannon, especially in the last 2 years with him, he's really worked hard to take my game to where it is now. And I'm excited knowing I've got another 2 years with him to see where I can go from here. But yeah, in terms of 2022, it's been pretty good so far. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. National championship wouldn't be a bad addition, I don't think.
You're in good stead to do that too. Now, Courtney, yourself, Shannon will head into a WNBL campaign with Townsville. You welcome the addition of who's been the enemy in Michaela Roof. So that's going to be super interesting, but I'm sure you prefer having her on your side than playing against her.
Yeah, definitely. Goodness me. Yeah, everyone that plays with her loves her, and everyone that plays against her is living in fear. So I'm very excited for her to come up here. I honestly had not had a single conversation with her until after the game on Saturday. I think she's just a competitor, and she's someone that wants to win at any cost. So I'm excited to actually now be her teammate, and I think that she's going to make a really big impact in this WNBL season. So we're really excited to have her.
Before we let you go, you mentioned the national finals. Now you're playing the Spartans in that first game, who you played in the semis. Are you looking forward to having a match up against them again? Because you're going to be a tough beat when it comes to the national finals.
Yeah, we are looking forward to that. I think it would have been cool to play someone from another state. Yeah, no, they're a good team. I think that we've been fortunate the last 2 games to come out and win the way that we have. But yeah, they're a really strong team, and we're definitely going to have to lock down to make sure we beat them a 3rd time. It's really hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. So yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup, and it'll be good to see Nadine again after last year.
Well, we're looking forward to the national finals, and we're so happy for you, Steph, and all you've achieved this year and this NBL1 season. Thank you for joining us on the show this week.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Pete, Steffrade is one of the basketball stories of the year. Great to see her smiling face. She's a gun.
It's not just her. I remember last week, Courtney, with the smile and the radiance of positivity coming out of the Flames. I mean, you've got to give a lot of the credit to Shannon Seabohm. He's got them playing that style, and they're just enjoying the way they play, and it shows where they're unstoppable on the floor. But Steph Reed, I think she's an NBL1 show favourite for sure. And I love the way she goes about it.
Well, so is Shannon. We spoke about him, in depth with Courtney last week. He's just a winner. He is one of the best coaches in this country. Whatever team he coaches, they win. They
do. And again, it's not just the way they win, it's the way they go about it. Yep. And even their losses, you can still see the way they carry themselves. So big credit to him. He's no doubt one of the best coaches in the country. And again, he's got a massive career ahead of himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take focus now on NBL1 North men, because we also have a champion, and it's the Rollers. And rolling is what they have been doing over the last few weeks.
Well, they have. And again, they're loaded with talent, led behind Jason Kadee, Tanner Krebs. They got the job done. There was a big availability issue around USC star Kuat Noy heading into it, was whether he would be released or not from the Kings. He wasn't able to in the first game, but the Gold Coast Rollers, they were already rolling at that time. So by the time he came in, it was no match. They won 101 to 86, and then on Saturday they put the sword to him, 118 to 71. Kadee averaged just under 30 points a game and an extra assist more than Steph Reed did in the series, 10 and a half assists. And I like what he had to say. That's a real professional way when you hear all the noise. He's not a guy who's going to get caught up in that, lets his game do the talking. But I like both of it. I think the talk is great from both sides. And we're referring to what Kuat Noy was saying. It was all over socials. But Kuat Noy came on this show and he talked the talk, what was it, 2 months ago?
I reckon it would even be longer.
And he walked the walk every single weekend after that. It was the MVP, had an outstanding season. And again, you don't get the hype around everything and deliver. So it would have been hard to come in when the Rollers were already doing what they did. So I love it from both sides. It only helps grow the game.
Yeah, me too, because having that big story last week, grand final week, we love that. A bit of drama, some news, will he or won't he? And then Jason Kadee, all class. And I love that he was the one that stood up and shone, and he's a champion, and we love to see it. Well, we are going to love to see some champions crowned this weekend in NBL1 South action. State Basketball Centre is going to be where it's at on Saturday night, but we're going to talk about how the teams have got there, We'll start with the women. It is the Bendigo Braves taking on the Ringwood Hawks at the State Basketball Centre. Tip-off 5 p.m, live and free on KO Freebies. I'll be there on sideline, so trying to do some of my best work. Marina Whittle, Megan Mackay, front court will be spectacular, but yeah, names across the court for both teams, and it was a massive weekend in South. It started with the semi-finals on Friday, Waverley escaping the Icehouse by 2 points and the Tawns beating Nuttawading.
Well, what a game, Ringwood versus Launceston, first of all. It was an OT finish, Ringwood. They won by 2. We thought Launceston with the three-headed monster was going to get the job done, but they just didn't quite get there. In overtime, you talk about heartbreaking devastation, and you get to overtime for the chance to get to the grand final was always going to be tough. And the big three tried hard. Tolo had 32 and 11, Froling had 15 and 16, and Kelsey Griffin had 11, 16 and 8 assists. They played all 45 minutes as well, but in the end, that's a really good team win by the Hawks.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Tawns were shut down by the Hawks in the second quarter. It took them until the final 2 seconds of the quarter to score their first points, and that was 2 points. So to keep that team and those 3 bigs to 2 points in the second term was telling. Marta Hameta had an incredible game for the Hawks. She finished with 15 points, 11 assists and 7 boards. Their imports have been sensational this season. We've got to give some love to Ringwood because they've been a pace setter throughout the season. They've got to the business end. They've been with and without Marina Whittle, who obviously went to the Com Games, and she's been a huge force in getting them to this point. So fantastic to see. But let's talk a bit about how Bendigo advanced to the final game.
Well, it's a big challenge for Ringwood. I mean, Bendigo, another one who's, when they're at full strength, has been proven to be hard to beat. They beat the Falcons by 3 on Sunday. It was a strong rebounding effort from Megan Mackay and Kelly Wilson. They had 18 and 14. Tess Madgen and Abby Waring had 23 points each. Waverley they did really massive effort. Beck Cole, she was huge, 22 and 8 assists, and Carly Ernst had 21 and 15. So sets up a heated battle. I mean, when you think about all year long, without Launceston, you probably think that Bendigo and Ringwood would be the two to play off, and that's what we're going to get.
Well, huge weekend too from Waverley, going to Mount Gambier, winning there, coming back, going to Bendigo. That's a lot of travel in a weekend. So, yeah, props to the Falcons for all they achieved this season. Let's have a look at men's action now because the grand final is set. The Chargers will play the Pioneers at the State Basketball Centre Saturday 8 p.m, live and free, of course, on KO Freebies. Harry Froling and the Chargers come up against Michael Harris and Nick Marshall.
It's going to be a really fun game. As we're NBL1 South, and we've got the 2 teams not in Victoria competing for it, but they've been the 2 best teams all year long. Gambier started on fire, hit a rough patch, but bounced back to playing their best basketball right now. And how they got there was an exceptional effort. I mean, Kilsyth, again, I don't think we spoke highly enough about what they did as a team. They've got superstars, but in terms of what the NBL players on other rosters, they just came together and absolutely did all they could. But let's talk about that game, Chargers versus Kilsyth. They won by 5, Hobart. AJ Harris had 21 and 9 rebounds, and it was a really exciting game. It looked like Hobart numerous times were just going to run away with it. But Kilsyth, never say die, just stuck to it and nearly got the job done.
They've just been, you're right, like consistent team basketball week in, week out. Sam McDaniel locked up Kilsyth's Deng Deng, who struggled significantly, shooting just 3 of 22 from the field on the night. But the Cobras' Corey Jeffs added 20 points and 7 boards, keeping them just within reach. As we take a look now at Mount Gambier and Sandringham. Sandringham without a few of their big guns.
Well, again, it was another 2 rough road trips for both Kilsyth and Sandringham. Both played on Friday night, and then one went to Mount Gambier, one went to Hobart. Yeah, but no Shea Ely, no Smith Milner, no Dion Prewster as well. They were away with Tall Blacks, so Sandringham was going to be tough for them to play against Mount Gambier, who were nearly at full strength. They got handed 88-62 in the end. Michael Harris had 21 points. Nick Marshall had 17, 10 and 5. David Barlow and Aquera both had 17 and 8. And then Dave Barlow, 12 points and 15 rebounds from Aquera. So they battled mightily. And again, you look at hindsight, how nice it would have been to have Shea Ely especially. Yep. He's had a terrific season. But Smith, Milner and Prewster would have really helped them give that Mount Gambier team a run. Yeah,
and of course, NBL1 South Awards on Friday night at the State Basketball Centre. Might just move to the State Basketball Centre for the next 2 weekends.
Well, I did do it for the next few years with the rebound development that's going on there. But also a big shout out to Dave Barlow, player coach through the season. Reese Carter was obviously on the sideline, but Barlow, I'm not sure if he expected to start play this many minutes in the back-to-back games, but he stood up when his team needed him. So big shout out to him. He's a ripper guy, and what a guy he can be on the floor as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's head to the Wild West now. It is grand final week, and in the women's action, the Senators will take on the reigning champs, the Willetton Tigers, at the Bendat Basketball Centre, Friday, 7:30 p.m. West MVP Stacey Barr against one of our favourites, Alex Sharp. It's going to be a great grand final.
Looking forward to that. The semi-finals, they started on Thursday. The Magic beat Rockingham and then the Tigers beat the Cougars. And we look at the Willetton Tigers, who took down the Wolves on their home floor, 92-81. Desiree Kelly had an outstanding game, 28 and 10, when Alex Sharp, you just mentioned, 20 and 12. So the Wolves' historic season came to an end. It was a tough game. Good fight from Robbie Ryan, who had 23, 9 and 9, and Tage Morrell. We keep saying favourites. Coles Express give us some favourites. Tage Morrell had 16 and 10, but what a season they had.
Yeah, and congratulations to some milestone women, Desiree Kelly and also Emma Gandini, on reaching their achievements at the weekend, as we take a look at Warwick and Mandurah now. So Mandurah were undefeated all season as Carly Bode, Carly Maholovic and Amy Brett rounded out a dangerous squad, but they only shot 34% in the game against the Senators, while Brett was the team's leading scorer with 16 points. Finals, it's a different ball game, Pete.
Well, it is, and again, it's all about playing your best basketball now. You can have the best season possible in the regular season, as we saw up north, but if you don't play your best basketball right now, you're going to get beaten on any given night. As we look at the men's West Grand Final action, that's set. The Buccaneers will play the Flames, 7 p.m. It'll be live and free on KO Freebies. Buccaneers have been the top team all year, but the West MVP, Devondrick Walker, he's looking to see what he can bring, and Marshall Nelson popping back up as well. So that's going to be a really exciting grand final.
Let's have a look at how we got here, though, on Thursday night. And, gee, we love that. It got us excited for a huge weekend, starting out west with some Thursday finals basketball. Semi-finals started with the Senators beating the Cougars on their home court, 79-77. That was a nail-biter. The Joondalup Wolves also escaped with a close win as they beat the Goldfield Giants 85-83. Another 2-point result.
And then the prelim finals, the Flames, they beat Warwick 85-74. MVP Devondrick Walker, he had 26 and 6. Tom Jervis had 20 points from 8 of 10 from the field. The Senators struggled to shoot from outside, just 9 of 32. Kyle Zunic just 4 of 15, and his season average well under his 18 points per game. So they did well defensively. Who's had a really good season, Kyle Zunic, who I also think is going to have a very big NBL season. But really, it sets up for an exciting grand final.
Yeah, of course. Catch that action across the weekend as we move to Central action now, and the NBL1 Central Women's Grand Final is all locked in, and the Bearcats will take on the Sabres at the Lights on Saturday at 4:30 p.m, streaming live and free on KO Freebies, of course. This is a rematch of the semi-finals, where the Bearcats beat the Sabres 94-82. The Sabres were on the wrong end of Jasmine Fijo's 32 points and Madeline Uti's 21.17 rebound. Double-double.
Well, looking forward to seeing how that rematch goes. In the prelim final, Sturt, they beat South by 4. We spoke to the South men's guest last week, and the women's we knew were going to put up a big fight. Michaela Williams had 31 and 19, and Meg Prosser had 17 points as well. Splash Spencer had 15 and 12, and again, a really good season from the South women. Just couldn't get it done in the big game, so looking forward to seeing the grand final.
And we should say Olivia Thompson, or congratulations to Olivia Leckie, now with Port Adelaide. So she's had a huge NBL1 season, gone over to the footy, so she's a busy bee.
Saw the interview actually where she came out and said that she popped up and got a DM from Erin Phillips and showing her husband who ran around for the Nord Redlegs as well. So that's a really cool story, and I think she's going to be a terrific AFLW player. She's got all the tools, and couldn't get it done in basketball, and I'm an Adelaide Crows fan, but anytime a fellow basketballer puts on the boots, I'll be supporting them. Yeah,
there's a few of them, so we wish them all the best. As we take a look at the men's grand final coming up in Central, and Woodville will take on the Panthers at the Lights, of course, Saturday 8:30, live and free on KO Freebies, Pete.
Well, we spoke to Alex Starling last week. He said you got to get through Forest if you want to go back at Woodville, who beat them the game before, and he said that they were going to do that. Woodville, they beat the Panthers by 20. Central MVP Jeremy Smith had 33 and Alex Starling had 15 and 10. So it's going to be a really interesting grand final series. But we talk about the prelim final now. They beat Forestville by 15. Jeremy Smith had 35 and 5. Alex Starling had 13-16. Daniel Johnson just 5 of 15 from the field. Still had 16 and 8, but This is a big win. I mean, I was talking about Forestville all season long. They had ins and outs come in the last few weeks. Again, not the time for it. When you're trying to build momentum and consistency, it's hard to do. So in the end, that probably got the better of them. But sets up another mouth-watering rematch in the grand final.
Oh, we're going to be busy bees on KO Freebies in the app all weekend with these grand finals. Let's talk more grand finals because the East champions were determined at the weekend. There they are, the Bandits champions.
Shocker.
Oh,
Shocker.
No, because Sutherland put up an almighty fight. It was a close game until the dying minutes in the final quarter. So congrats to the Bandits. It's just a wonderful story. We've spoken about Lauren Jackson every week, and fair enough, and she's won many championships in her career, but this one is extra special, winning with her home team. Of course, we know the stadium is named after her, and this one was extra special. 85-72 winners over the Sutherland Sharks. Let's talk about Unique Thompson, Finals MVP. She's one of the stories of the NBL1 season.
Well, she is, and again, we know she's got that contract signed in Russia, but no doubt we're going to see her back in the shores of Australia and probably on a WNBL roster. You can slot her wherever you need. She's going to get the job done. Up next to the GOAT, when the GOAT's not there, she changes her role and does exceptionally well. What an outstanding season. What an outstanding season from Sutherland as well. Loz Nicholson, a couple of friends of the show as well. So we're looking forward to seeing what the future holds for them. But that was an exciting grand final series. But no doubt the story, just the fairy tale story of Lauren Jackson, when you think about how it was going to end, of course it was going to end in a championship. It's just been an unreal 6 months for the GOAT.
It has been. Hopefully more to come, because I don't think it was announced last week, but she signed with Southside in the WNBL. So World Cup next month, national final. Not sure if she'll be there, but we know Aubrey will be, and the World Cup. But yeah, just on Unique Thompson, to come into a team during the season as an import, find her spot, dominate, didn't play a whole heap of games with LJ. We had her on the show, of course. A wonderful story. So well done to Unique. And the Bandits, now they will face the winners of South, either Ringwood or Bendigo, in the Coles Express NBL1 National Final.
Well, that's going to be an exciting one. As you said, the question mark around the GOAT will be interesting, but well deserved. They deserve to be there, and I'm sure that Unique Thompson will be ready for the challenge, whether she's there or not, next to the GOAT.
Well, it is time to talk about the Gunners, Pete. We talk about it every week on Twitter, and now it's time to shine some spotlight and love their way, because they are the men's East champions. On Sunday, they beat the Mustangs 76-73. It was a very tense grand final, a nail-biting finish, and Glen Morrison was named Finals MVP for the Gunners with a game-high 28 points and 11 boards.
Well, again, it's super exciting, the inaugural NBL1 East champions, because it's the first time underneath the NBL1 East banner, and they look like they had a lot of fun. I'm sure the celebrations would have been big, and now they head over to play the Frankston Blues, who are the wildcard winners. So that's going to be the first game for them in the national final, thanks to Coles Express. But we did have a lot of talk throughout the season on Twitter from some Canberra Gunners fans.
So ASAP Robbie.
And I'm glad they got there. I didn't want to have to tweet back and just say, look, they didn't get the job done, but they did, and they deserve to be in the national final. Yeah,
well, they take on Frankston, as you said. What are you expecting, given the season Frankston's had? They've known for a little while that they got through on the wild card, and we know the players they've got in that team.
Well, they just want to be healthy, and again, they're playing some pretty good basketball right now. I know they didn't make it to the grand final of NBL1 South, but they're a tough beat. They've got a lot of talent, and I'm sure that's going to be a big challenge for the Gunners, who have shown that even when it gets close, they can pull out a win. So who knows what will happen.
Well, joining us now is the Finals MVP for Canberra in NBL1 East. Welcome to the show, Glen Morrison. Congratulations, and that's a very nice looking T-shirt.
Yeah, thanks for having me on today.
Tell us what the last few days have been like. I'm sure it's been a big 72 hours.
Yeah, it's been pretty wild. You know, the trip back, the bus was just immaculate. Boys were having the time of their lives.
Now, talk us a little bit about the game. I mean, it was a nail-biting finish. You've had a pretty good season overall as a team. Must have felt good to finally get the reward to be champions.
Yeah, it's been a great season. It's been made even sweeter, considering we're all just a bunch of local Canberra boys. Like, no imports, no one brought in. It's just a bunch of guys that have played together since juniors, and that makes it all so much sweeter.
What did it mean to achieve the ultimate success? Given what you said, you are local Canberra boys. We know your journey coming through the Gunners and the Canberra programs. It must have been extra special.
It's just amazing. You know, the entire Canberra supporters were behind us. You know, all the old boys were there every game, sidelines, just giving us the most support we can have, and it's really fueled us on the whole season.
Now, this is the first time that we've had the NBL1 banner be across the New South Wales competition, NBL1 East. Have you noticed the difference? I mean, we see it right here. We look at it, you know, you got the signage up, but all the social media that's built up around it. Has it been awesome to see the NBL1 banner take over?
It's been fantastic to see, you know. Basketball in New South Wales is coming up. Basketball in Canberra is coming up. And just having the extra NBL logo around is just improves it so much more, brings more sponsorship, and can only improve the quality.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up. You said that the NBL banner and Canberra basketball. So you've obviously seen the social media news. NBL's looking for an expansion team. There's Darwin, the Philippines popped up, Newcastle. But Canberra well and truly in the mix. Do you think Canberra's ready for an NBL team? Sorry?
We definitely are. You know, basketball in Canberra is just taking it off. You know, juniors is that capacity. We have the foundation for a program, and if they just bring it, the Canberra people will get around it.
Love that. I'm sure they will. And I had to mention before we get into some more serious stuff about the national final, celebrations. Did you end up at Mooseheads by any chance?
No, not on a Sunday, but it's coming.
I'm sure.
I want to go back to the bus trip because there's been a lot of bus trips this season in NBL1 East, and we know that you do a lot of Ks to get to your games every week. But what's it like to be able to have that time together, to bond as a team? And that's part of the celebrations when you win a championship on a Sunday and the bus trip home. I mean, that must have been a little special part of it too.
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. You know, after every game, after every win, it's just the boys just having fun on the drive home. You know, passing by the Lake George every day. It's just a fantastic sight, and the boys are loving it.
The only negative about bus trips when you get back on long games in NBL1 is if there is maybe a beer or two floating around, there's a lot of stops on the way home because you know what happens while you're doing that. But let's talk about the national final. You're going to be there. You're playing against Frankston. And Frankston, we know they're a tough squad. They're the wild card winner. Have you started talking about that yet? When will training kick back off and you'll be looking forward to that one?
Yeah, we'll get there when we get there. It's just about playing the same we've played all season, you know. Nothing special about playing the finals. We just got to do what we do best, and whatever happens, happens.
So we've got a Twitter friend. I think his handle is ASAP Robbie. Do you know who that is? He tweets us
every single week about the Gunners all season long.
Not a clue. We know some other fanatic Gunners fans that reply, but not ASAP.
Well, we love their passion and their commitment to the Gunners, and we appreciate that.
We do. We also love what you did. You were the finals MVP. You had 28 and 11. So at any point in the game, did you think, we've got this in the bag, or wasn't until the last final seconds? Because you looked like you had a lot of fun out there and you looked pretty hard to stop.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were down 18 in the third, so it's tough to say that we knew we were going to win, but once that buzzer sounded, just the joy that came through was just amazing.
Well, I reckon the smile on your face when you're talking says it all. It's been awesome to catch up with you. Congratulations on your team and individual achievements, and we'll see you at the national final.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, Pete, it's been a wonderful show. 2 great guests. They're still on a championship high. As
they should be. And 2 guests just radiating positivity. That's what we love. And really exciting to have that. And I'm looking forward to seeing them both in the national final. And again, the Gunners, they're going to be saying, why not us? Everyone might say that Frankston, they're from the south, they might be stronger. But the Gunners have proven they'll just come together down 18 in the third quarter. They get the job done. And their bond is probably unlike any other. You mentioned road trips. Road trip bonds on the bus when you're having a lot of fun time together. All just no imports, local guys. Never say never. Well,
Glen Morrison had his championship ring on his pinky finger because it didn't fit on his other fingers. Yours is a bit crooked. What's happened?
I've got Brian Gorginitis. So my pinky dislocated from college and then 500 times since. So, yeah, nothing I can do about that. It's I do say when we used to do coaching camps back in Melbourne United, I could high-five multiple kids at once when I ran around the court. But yeah, not ideal. But that's, again, those rings, sometimes if they're not size, you can only fit them on the pinky finger, and that's all Glen Morrison could do.
Where do you put all your championship rings?
That's a good question, actually. I'm actually not, I know where my United one is. I'm not sure where my college ones are. I might need to check back where they are.
Lost track of them. There's so many.
Tom Brady problems.
There is lots of championship rings on offer this weekend. You can catch all the action on KO Freebies, of course, and keep up to date on our socials and the app. And we'll see you next week as we talk about 3 more conference champions. Have a great weekend of basketball, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
It's one all, one shot, now the future is yours. Go!